This is my backup alarm. That means my phone died last night. First time in 3 days that I'm waking up after the sun. This is not good. Waking up to this alarm means I'm very late. It's 8:48 a.m. Breakfast ends at 9:30, and I've done literally no packing. I don't even know where my phone is yet, but I'm gonna have to do that later. I'm gonna try and be packed by 9:05. That's ridiculous. Wish me luck. It's 9:06, so I'm 1 minute late, but I'm done packing. I made it. The last thing I need to do is shower and brush my teeth, put that in the bag, and go eat. Breakfast is done now in 25 minutes. Oh boy, what should I do first? And what that process is. We were supposed to drive together with Phil, Jackie, and this car. That's Kim's car. Oh no. So that's Kim's car. She's not gonna make it. Kristen's probably fine. But Jackie and I are gonna continue on, right, meow, and head off early.
In Sector 14, S14 by the Oasis. My avatar is a sanctuary. It was the one worried the Sixers would also try to use the tablet to hunt.
We're at our first stop on our trip to Koningszee, and stopping for gas, and all that other stuff. We just got word from the Great British team coaches that the police are checking for the vignettes that I bought on the way over. So those are all good. We're all set in that department, but just in case we get pulled over, I wanted to pull up my passport. Things are going smooth so far. The drive is nice. As you can see, it's beautiful. And we got a couple more hours, 250 kilometers, but it's windy roads. But it's a beautiful day for it. Well, we stopped for the next energy stop, and we found this Red Bull that apparently is organic, but they call it Organ Tonic. Where do you find Red Bull in nature? So I made a mistake, really big mistake. I booked my room here from tomorrow, so I showed up and realized that I made that mistake. So last minute booking.com has me in the hotel that I was in last year, and this room looks identical to the room I was in last year. I'm going to show you the room as I shower. Pretty sweet little room, huh? I stayed here for 3 weeks last year in February, leading up to World Championships. I got pretty accustomed to this place. It's kind of crazy how this looks exactly the same. Even though I've been gone for just under a year, the place still feels like a type of home and a type of familiarity. On the drive today, I was experiencing something that I've learned to enjoy a little bit more as I've aged. It sounds funny saying that, but it's the truth. Something I've learned to enjoy the more I've aged. And that has to do with this. It's not the M&Ms. I've always liked M&Ms. But it's the fact that I still have M&Ms that I've been enjoying. So Walter Mischel and Ebbesen in 1960 did the first marshmallow test that is my M&M test. And they sat children down between the ages of 4 and 6 and said to them, I have a marshmallow for you. You can have it now, but I'm going to leave the room for 15 minutes. And when I come back, if you have not eaten the marshmallow, I have a second one for you. The choice is yours. And they found that 2/3 of the children just scarfed it down. They may have struggled for a little while, but ended up eating the marshmallow. While 1/3 of the children decided to wait. Maybe they didn't decide in peace and calm, but they did ultimately wait the 15 minutes and were awarded an additional marshmallow. This laid the foundation for the idea of delayed gratification and its effects on people, because they went back 15 years later and interviewed the same children again, and they found that 100% of the children who were able to wait the 15 minutes, they had better grades, they had better relationships with their teachers, with their fellow students, they had better work environments, they had a better plan or a more concrete plan for what they were doing, a vision for life. In general, these young adults now were happier. So this idea of delayed gratification became the underpinnings for success in the future. No question, I would have been in the kids that ate the marshmallow immediately. I've never been terrible at indulging, but I've never really had a reason to delay gratification because I've never really had a plan for it. I've never really understood it until these marshmallow experiments start to hit home on a different level, like they have been as I've gotten older. And this idea that you don't have to just live a life, but you can actually make a life. But you can only make a life if you live uncomfortably, and you've got to live within confines and struggling because you have a vision for the future. And this delayed gratification develops a lot of skills in terms of impulse control. Number one, problem-solving skills. You become more in tune with your feelings and what they mean, not just becoming reactionary to a quick thought. And all this to say that these studies have been reproduced time and time again with the same results. What I've taken from this really subtle M&M experiment in myself is that there's a beauty in confines. There's a beauty in the struggle and development of willpower. It builds a conviction, it builds a reason, it adds taste. So I don't really have a way to wrap it up or any grand point to make other than sharing the marshmallow experiment with you. Jim Rohn says it's those little successes that build the energy and the confidence for the bigger successes, the more audacious ones. You got to start somewhere, and I'm starting with having M&Ms. And I hope that if you're watching this and you're staring at that marshmallow on the table now, but you know that there's a promise of more later, I hope that you have the awareness and the willpower and the conviction to hold off. Good night. Today's 5 seconds of gratitude is being able to document growth. Oh, yes! That's where I found it.